It is our goal to make a very small container called a pycnometer out of a pipette. We first light the Bunsen burner. This will allow us to separate the pasteur pipette into two sections. Adjust the Bunsen burner to make a hot flame. Remember that the hottest part of the flame is the tip of the inner blue cone. Then I am going to take that pipette and I'm going to mark the spot where I am going to split it. It should be split close to the open wide end, about 1/3 of the way across. I'm marking it with a pen so that I am going to eyeball the correct spot. When I place it in the Bunsen burner, I am going to rotate it so that the flame gets across the pipette and melts the glass. The glass will start to sag and become molten. When it becomes molten, I will pull on the pipette to separate it into two pieces. The small piece is garbage, and the larger piece will form our pycnometer. Notice in this pycnometer that there is a pointy end on the end. This is liable to break off and I need to melt it down and make it flat. I will use a wire gauze to assist me as I melt the tip down and flatten the molten glass with the wire gauze. When it is complete, that end should be flat and closed. Now I need to separate the long stem from the pipette by cutting the glass. I want to separate it at the point where it begins to widen. It needs to be a large enough opening to be able to get water in and out, but if it gets too large, then it's difficult to see. The black mark is an appropriate spot to cut the glass. Okay, I'm going to use a file. When I use the file, I point the pointy end away from my body and I will apply pressure and draw the file towards me. You only file in one direction, you never go back and forth. So the correct technique is to set the file on the glass and pull it towards yourself. You don't want to crush the glass, you want to cut the glass. One fluid motion. That will score the glass. Then what I need to do is rotate it and score all the way around the glass. Once we've scored the glass all the way around, wrap it in a paper towel. Put your thumbs where the score mark is and press your thumbs to break the glass. We keep it in a paper towel to contain any glass shards and protect yourself against cuts. You may be able to see that on this pycnometer there is a shard, a pointy shard of very sharp glass. I am going to melt that down, flatten it to make it safe, and I don't want that piece of glass to break off during the experiment, as that will affect the weight of my empty pycnometer. So I'm going to hold that cut end in the hottest part of the flame, and again just flatten it out. As I do this, I want to be careful not to close it, because this is the opening in which we will have to add liquid. When it is finished, you should see that the open end is smooth with no sharp edges, and it's nice and open, large enough to allow liquid to go in.